Well, today my group and I will be talking about abortion laws, specifically on why men should not have a say on abortion laws. We'll be analyzing the three following images. The first image says, men should not be making laws about my body. The second image says, this body is not a political battleground. And lastly, the last image says, my body, my choice. To start off, I will be explaining the application of Burke's rhetorical pen tag. For the first image, we chose to write for the act, politicians/men arguing over abortion laws. For C, we wrote, man politicians making laws about a woman's body, which has injured society, especially women. For Asian, we wrote, women are upset due to the fact that no one should decide someone's choice, therefore they protest. For agency, we wrote that they protest through banners, campaigns, billboards, and etc. And for the main purpose, we wrote to stop politicians/men from believing that they have the rights to make laws about a woman's body. For the second image, we wrote a woman using her rights by protesting for the act. And for the scene we wrote, this image shows a woman with tape around her mouth and arms to show how women feel trapped, yet even that does not stop them from fighting for their rights. For Asian, we wrote, women are angry that their bodies are political battlegrounds. For agency, we wrote that they protest by creating banners and using them in peaceful protests like shown in the image. For the main purpose, we chose to write to voice and clarify their opinion, that their opinion matters and that no woman's body is a political debate. Lastly, for the third image, we wrote a woman standing up for herself for the act. For C, we wrote that this image shows a woman speaking the truth by stating that it's her body and her choice. For agent, we put that the woman is saying her rights. For agency, we wrote that she's saying her rights by standing firm with both arms across to show that she disagrees with abortion laws. For the main purpose, we wrote that to show how women should be the only ones making decisions on their bodies. Needless to say, this topic is mostly intended for women. Throughout the years, women have been pushed aside in many ways. It is time for us to voice and speak upon things that involve us. Thus, these images should empower and let women know that they have the ability to stand up and use their rights. With that, politicians can be an intended audience as well. Politicians and/or lawmakers are also intended audience because not only do they have the final say to legalize laws, they need they also need to listen to the citizens and keep in mind their concerns. Many believe that they should not have the right to make laws about abortion, especially since the majority of politicians are males. Lastly, the topic is intended for citizens, particularly the Gen Z. As has been noted, the Gen Zs have been really involved in today's politics. Therefore, it is important for them to notice this and contribute their own opinion about the subject. The tones used for all three images are stern, docile, accusatory, assertive, and cautionary. In all three images, the font and diction used is in bold letters and capitalized, which makes one believe that the information given is important and serious. Therefore, we use words such as stern and cautionary to describe this serious tone. With that, in all three images, the message is docile because it shows important messages that people should be educated about. Lastly, for the first two images, the tone is accusatory because it shows that women disagree and believe that this mindset is wrong, but also in a nice.
Now I'll explain the source's context. As we can see, all these images are related to each other by a common theme, prohibit or permit the abortion. Therefore, the context of the data became a controversy in society. Opinions in Congress were sharply divided between Republicans and Democrats. If we look at the gender composition in 2020, we will see that women make up 23.6% or 1/4 of the Congress. Thus, the pictures urge us to think about the questions like who should decide whether to allow or forbid women to have an abortion? Do men and political parties have the right to tell women what to do? And finally, who is entitled to control the woman's body? Next, please. Thank you. Now I'll explain diction and ethos, logos, pathos of all three three images. Let's look at the first image. Here, diction and word variations change the meaning of the sentence, thereby attracting the attention of the audience. The phrase "men should not be making laws about my body" is written in big red letters because um, the words "not" and "mine" are highlighted in black. Visually, if you remove these words, the meaning of the phrase will completely change. This point reinforces the understanding of the uncertainty in this matter. The text is formal and it simply describes the problem to the point. A strong emotional impact on the viewer is produced by the fact that the image of a woman is actually absent from the picture. We can only guess that this is a woman. She is on the front of the page, much larger than the figures behind, showing that women are the ones in solving this issue, not men. In addition, the two men are located symmetrically relative to each other, which symbolizes their equivalence. They differ exclusively in color, showing their political party. The fact that we do not see a woman's face alarms us and displays that men are deciding on the issue without taking into account the opinion of women in general. So we get the impression that women do not exist at all. At the same time, the large size of a woman's hand and the poster that she's holding symbolizes the size of the problem. Let's move on to the second picture. The diction of the image is much more effective than the previous one. The word "not" highlighted in black has a sub-context similar to the first picture. The phrase "this body is not a political battlefield" is more politicized and it is better to read and thus attracts more attention. The formal inscriptions in the background, abortion and birth control, are repeated several times, which tells us that this is what women have been fighting for. The silhouette of a woman on the foreground looks as if she protects the rights behind her. The woman's body is naked, which shows her insecurity and helplessness. She tries to cover it with her hands as if protecting herself. Hands are her only defense. At the same time, her hands are wrapped in ribbons, which are trying to pull away the woman's hands and deprive her of her defense. It emotionally draws the viewer's attention to the picture and through this to the problem. Women's face is covered with the flag of the US political parties, which is irritating and causes the viewers to have a negative attitude towards it and once again reminds that the decision is made by politicians. And finally, this third picture at the first glance is the simplest one of the three, but I think this is a misleading idea, and here's why. I'm quite familiar with Orthodox culture. I myself was raised in an Orthodox family. On Sundays, my family went to church for Holy Communion. Therefore, when I saw this image, a silhouette of a woman with her arms crossed on her chest reminded me of a woman in church who goes to receive a Holy Communion. The logo of the European Union flag indicates European culture and religion, since Europeans are mainly Christian. Also, according to Christian commandments, murder is a mortal sin. In my opinion, in this picture, the artist shows to the viewers that only a woman herself has a right to control her body, and neither men nor even religion can interfere with that. She must decide this for herself in accordance with her beliefs and principles. The diction of the third picture, "my body, my choice," actually gives us the answer to the question that we thought about when looking at the first and second picture. Again, a technique is used with hands that displays a woman's helplessness and, as I said earlier, religiosity. With her gesture, the woman seemed to say to the viewers, "This is my body, do not touch me." The phrase on the picture is brought to the front to show the importance of the statement.
Here we have the strongest and weakest elements regarding the three images. For image 1, the strongest element is how it emphasizes on the words "men" and "not," therefore stating how men should not be allowed to have a say when it comes to issues of a woman's body, more so targeting men in politics, which can be seen from the red and blue color distinction. Followed by the weakest element being how it lacks emphasis on the overall message. The person could have used different lettering to embolden the message while keeping the main emphasis. For image 2, the strongest element is how it clearly emphasizes that a woman's body and decisions are restrained by politics, especially regarding the issue on abortion, which can be seen from the gagged mouth and rope, followed by the weakest element being how they could have added more of a significance to the rope. Yes, it stands for the restraint and could have added significance to the color, like the political flag over the woman's mouth. Finally, for image 3, the strongest element is how it strongly emphasizes on how a woman's body is theirs and should be left to the woman to make a decision of her own body, followed by its weakest argument being how it lacks to provide more insight to the argument being made. The stance is clear but could use more depth to the meaning. Here we have the analysis of information of the images. For image 1, this image is from a health article, Flair, bringing awareness to the stance of the political parties and their beliefs on the topic of abortion rights. In this image, the message being stated is how men, emphasis on men in politics, should not be able to make laws regarding a woman's body. It could be seen that they strongly believe in the stance because they emboldened their message and changed the color of the words men and not, as well as making sure to incorporate the political aspect by the red and blue color distinction of the men. For image 2, this image is from a design company, Turn On Red, which make apparel regarding controversial issues and bring awareness to the ongoing gender inequality. In this image, the message being stated is how a woman's body should not be used for political battles regarding issues of a woman's body and choices. In the image, the woman is restrained by ropes and gagged by a political flag taped over her mouth, representing how politics take control over a woman's body and their freedom of speech. Here, the political argument being over abortion and birth control. Then finally, for image 3, this image is from a Twitter post from EU Commissioner for Equality, Helena Dalli. She is from GAP III, which is an organization for gender equality that mainly focuses on equality issues regarding women and the LGBT community. In this image, the message being stated is how a woman's body belongs to her and her only, which means it is her choice to make a decision, whether it's from taking birth control or having an abortion. This image gives encouragement to a woman's voice. Finally, we have our takeaways. Overall, a woman's body belongs to her and her only. It should not be treated as a battleground for politics or seen as a controversial issue. A woman should be able to make her own decisions about her own body without there being a law to consequent her actions of having an abortion or being able to take birth control, especially when it comes to men in politics. They have no right to create laws that can potentially put women on death row. Under the 19th Amendment of the United States Constitution, women have their freedom of speech to speak out for themselves. And here are our sources, and that concludes our presentation.
That's all, folks.